Hi everyone. So let me just check if I'm live here on YouTube. Just a second. Today I'll be discussing about the B.Ed degree. Also a founder of a startup where I grow microgreens by vertical farming technology. Okay, so this is live here. Yeah. All right then. Okay, so join with us in Telegram. So that is for homework and class notes. You can join the channel Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10 biology and the Telegram channel of Unacademy ICSE and IC both. So this link you can find in the description box. So go to the description box. So you will find the link of Unacademy channel, that is ICSE and ISC both, and also you will find link for special classes there and community as well, and also the Bucks Bounty, so you can go ahead with that. Okay, so we'll be conducting special classes that are free classes on the platform. You can learn from your favorite educator for free. So different educators are coming up with different courses. Okay, so that is basically the special class courses, and these are theme based, like they one would be conducting a quiz, so a revision session might be going on, a discussion session might be going on. So basically you will have access to all these special classes which are run by different educators, so you can engage with educators via poll there. So we'll be conducting the polls also, that is quiz, so that you can practice what you have studied already through the polls as well. Then clear your doubt in the live special class. So here basically there is a separate question tab, okay, where you can type in your question, attach an image and send it to the educator during the live session. So the educator will be getting a notification that the learner has asked the doubt and will be clearing your doubt. So now for the top special classes, you can visit the link in the description there. All right, so let's see this. So this is about the Unacademy subscription features, where you can learn live from the comfort of your home, and these are paid classes. So these are subscribed classes where 100% syllabus coverage will be there, but in free classes only up to a certain percentage the topics will be covered. So you can first start taking up the special classes once you are comfortable learning from here. So you can go ahead with the plus classes there, so you can learn live from the comfort of your home. Okay, and there is unlimited access to all the courses will be there. Then top educators of India are going to take the classes in one platform, so that is Unacademy platform. Then regular doubt clearing session will be done. So after about every 3 session, the 4th session will be your doubt clearing session. Okay, so whatever doubts you have related to the topics that are previously covered, so you can clear your doubt in the doubt clearing session. Then mentorship and guidance will be given, study material will be given, so that will be in the form of a PDF. Practice tests are conducted, live test series are conducted, and also you will have access to batch courses. So we have a batch in English, we have a batch in English as well. So you can go ahead with any of these batches or both of these batches, so depending on your availability of time. Okay, so you will have access to both the batches once you take the subscription. And with that, there is daily practice section, weekly mock test series conducted. Right now there is a scholar test which is going on a weekly basis, so you will have access to these weekly mock test series as well. And also the live quizzes, daily MCQ and subjective test series are also conducted. And along with that, the theme session which I told you in about the special classes, so you can take up those special classes also and start practicing there as well. Okay, so this is offer, so there is an offer going on right now, and this offer is till tomorrow, that is 22nd, which will be basically the duration of this particular the offer. So for different months, so here for 24 months it is given 18, 12 and 9 months. So these are the current prices and this one is the offer price. So now with this current price, so basically you can have a look at this current price. So for 12 months, if we have to mention, so this will be around 19,838, and with the offer, so this is reduced to 16,863, where the cost has been reduced, and you will be saving up to 2,975. So that is nearly 3,000 you will be saving. Okay, so if you are planning to take the subscription, you can go ahead with 12 months of subscription, because if you are going for class 9 subscription, that is whole 12 months, so in that case class 10, class 11 and class 12 subscription will be absolutely free for you all. So you can take up, while you are in class 9, you can take up the plus classes of 10, class 11 as well as class 12. So you can completely decide on to this, and don't forget to mention the code. The code is Vani YT. Okay, so with this code only you will be getting 20% discount. So don't forget to mention the code there. Hi, medical aspirant. Good evening. So you are a medical aspirant, so planning to write NEET or what? So let's get started. So that is with the bisexual flower today. Okay, so we'll be discussing about the bisexual flower and the different parts of it. Okay, so basically the flower, when we mentioned, yes, anybody, the function of flower, what is it? What is the function of flower? Anyone? No idea? Okay, so now bisexual flower, when it is mentioned here. Alright, so the function of this flower, okay, so or any general flower when we mention, so basically it is a reproductive part. Alright, so what is this? This one is the reproductive part, which can have the male and the female gamete there. Okay, sorry, there is a female gamete and a male gamete that can be found, and this has got the ornamental value also, so in different decoration and other things, so this can be used. But main thing or main function why the plant produces flower is to carry out the reproduction, where it carries the male and the female reproductive part, and by that basically you can see, so there are a lot of changes that are going to occur in the plant body, so which leads to seed formation and fruit formation and the continuity of this species. So that is possible, that is continuity of a particular species is possible, that is because of the flower, and it can be unisexual also, because there is another flower which might be having the other gamete. So in that case it can be basically a flower, so be it a bisexual or be it a unisexual, but the flower is the reproductive part which is required for the fertilization process. Okay, and let's have a look at the introduction part of this. Just a second, let me check this. All right then. Okay, so the floral primordium is the tissue. So there will be, there is a tissue, okay, so which is basically on the stem. So let's say there is a stem and there is a tissue over here, or there is a tissue over here, which can form the fruit. So that develops into a flower there. So there is a formation of flower, and once the fertilization occurs, there is a formation of fruit as well. Okay, so that is because the ovary itself is basically the fruit formation. So it is a ripened ovary there. So in that case, floral primordium is the tissue on the stem that develops into flower. Okay, so you can see there is a formation of flower. All right, so there is a formation of fruit that can be seen, right? So that is only after fertilization, but there is a particular tissue which is going to form a flower. So there is no separate tissue. It is basically modified stem tissue itself which is forming the flower as such. Okay, so cluster of floral buds formed on the shoot, that is in case of some species. So you can see one common floral axis will be there. Okay, so on to this one common floral axis, so you can find there are flowers. Okay, so there is a flower, and this flower when we mention, so basically this is the flower now. All right, so this one is the flower, and you can see arrangement of flowers on the common axis. So cluster of floral buds formed on the shoot in some species. So this we call as inflorescence. Okay, so it is an inflorescence, so it need not be like this always. So you can see arrangement of flowers in this way as well. So there are flowers here as such. So this way also the flowers can get attached or arranged. All right, so this way also the flowers can be there. So this is anyway on a common floral axis you can find a bunch of flowers, and that we call as the inflorescence. Okay, so the male reproductive part androecium and the female reproductive part gynoecium, so they develop. So let me just draw the diagram of a flower. So before that, the flowers are the reproductive unit of a plant, right? So why do we say they are reproductive parts? Because they contain the male reproductive part, which is androecium. Okay, and then there is a female reproductive part, so which is a gynoecium. So there is a androecium and there is a gynoecium. So these are the male as well as the female reproductive part. And now let's have a look at the structure of a flower and why exactly this flower is like, or the petals. So why petals are colorful? Is there any reason why the petals are colorful? Yes, anybody? So there is a flower, all right. So why petals are colorful, and why there is a male or a female gamete production that occurs inside the female gametode. So which is male, and female gametophyte. So that you can mention. Alright, so these are some of the questions before I start with what exactly is this. Alright, and which is the gamete here. Okay, so what is or which is, so it is basically which is the gamete here. So which is the gamete? Okay, so that is which is the gamete for, one second, gamete in plants. So that is, we call them as male gametes in case of two male gametes or two male nuclei are the gametes, and there is a egg nuclei, polar nuclei. But anyway, these are the gametes which will be fusing. So there is a polar nuclei as well. So this is the answer for this one. Okay, and other than that, what is male or female gametophyte? So which one is male gametophyte? Any idea? The male gametophyte, when we mention, so it is basically the male gametophyte here is the pollen grain. Then the female gametophyte is which one? The female gametophyte. Okay, so the female gametophyte is the embryo sac, right? So embryo sac is the female gametophyte that can be found in case of different structural organization. So that is especially is what? So this one is the embryo sac now having antipodal cells. So there are three antipodal cells that you can find, and other than that there is a egg, synergid, and there is a polar nuclei. So these are going to form the female gametophytic structure there. Alright, so pollen grain, if we have to draw, so let me just draw it here itself. So now in case of pollen grain, so pollen grain is the male gametophyte where you can find suspended vegetative cells. So this one is not suspended, generative cell it is. So this one is the generative cell and this one is vegetative cell. Okay, so this one is vegetative cell, and the vegetative cell, or this can also be called as a tube cell. So tube cell is having a tube nucleus. So this one is what? Tube cell is having tube nucleus, and generative cell is having two of the nuclei. So there are two of the nuclei there, so which we call as the male gametes. So these are the male gametes. And what is this structure now? So this is the structure of the pollen grain. So pollen grains are produced by what? The pollen grains are produced by the anther. Okay, so inside the anther the pollen grains are produced, so that is within the pollen sacs. So this pollen sac is nothing but pollen bags will be there, and within that you can see there is a pollen grain which is a male gametophyte, and that contains these male gametes. So there is a vegetative cell that you can find, then there is a tube cell, or the this one is the tube nucleus. So there is a generative cell which is having two of the male gametes. So that is nothing but the two male nuclei there. Alright. So this is the structure of male gametophyte. So if we have to study about the embryo sac, so this one is the female gametophyte having the antipodal cells. So these are antipodal cells. Okay, and this one is the egg cell. So here is the synergid, just a second. So here is the synergid, and this egg along with the synergid, so both of the synergids together, so this can be called as the egg apparatus there. Okay, so that would be the egg apparatus. So on the whole, so this one is the female gametophyte. So let's have a look at the flower which is having the four types of whorls. Okay, so there is a calyx. What is the collective term? Is basically a calyx, or otherwise this can be considered as the sepal. So group of sepals, collectively we can call them as a calyx. And for corolla also it's the same thing, so it is a petal. Okay, but the collective term, so that is group of petals are there, so that is the corolla. So androecium, there is another name, so there is a stamen. So a part of the stamen is basically anther, and then there is filament. And gynoecium, when we mention, so this is called as a carpel or the pistil. Okay, so this is carpel or the pistil. And here in this case, just a second. Okay, so carpel or pistil, and here in this case you can find there is a production of embryo sac. So now these need not be collective terms. So that is stamen. Even if it is one, we can call it as an androecium. Collectively too many stamens are there, so that also we can call it as an androecium. So it can be collective term also, or individually also we can use the term androecium. So same with respect to gynoecium, the collective of all the carpel. Okay, so that can be said as gynoecium even if one is present, so that is also a gynoecium itself. So, but these are anyway collective terms. If too many calyx are there and corolla are there, so that is the collective term instead of a sepal or a petal. So sepal will address only one sepal, only one petal as such. But the calyx and corolla, when we mention, so it is the overall sepal in the plant, overall petal in the plant. Okay, so that is in the flower, not in the plant but in the flower. Okay, so these are the four whorls, and outermost being which one? Any idea? Which is the outermost whorl? No idea on this? Alright. So the outermost whorl is the calyx. Okay, so this being the outermost whorl of the flower. Next being the corolla. Okay, and next after this you can find the androecium. So this being the innermost. Okay, so innermost is the gynoecium or the pistil or the carpel there. Okay, so these are the different parts, and if all the four whorls are there, okay, so that we call as the complete flower. So even if one of the part is missing, so that can be labeled as the incomplete flower. Okay, so that means there is one of the part is missing, so that is basically either the calyx, corolla, or it can even be androecium or a gynoecium. So that we call as the incomplete flower. So if all these parts are there, so basically it is a complete flower. Alright, then there is essential part and non-essential parts that we have a look at. One second, let me just check this. Okay, so what exactly is essential or a non-essential part in a plant or in a flower? So male gametophyte you can find, and the female gametophyte. So basically male reproductive part and the female reproductive parts. So these are essential parts. Okay, so when we mention essential parts, so it can be the female reproductive part and the male reproductive part. Okay, and since these are essential, so these are called as essential parts of the plant body or the flower. So that is because they have a role in reproduction. So essential for what? Essential for reproduction process, and hence, just a second. Yeah, so essential for the reproduction it is required, and hence these are called as the essential. Then what about the calyx and the corolla? So calyx and corolla are considered to be under the non-essential parts because they are not having a role in reproduction. So here this can be non-essential. So non-essential, when we mention, so they do not have a role in reproduction there, right? So in this case, there is no role in reproduction, but yes, they are anyway providing a protection to the reproductive organs. Just a second. Alright, so let's have a look at this. That is types of flowers. So you can find there is a bisexual flower, okay, so which is having both androecium and gynoecium, and that's the reason we call this as a bisexual flower. Okay, then there is a unisexual flower which is having either the stamen or the carpel. All right, so that is unisexual. So there can, so different parts of a flower. All right, so what are the different parts of a flower there? Anybody? Just a second, I'll just check this. Okay, so let's have a look at the parts of a flower. So I'll just draw it and explain it. So now you know the outermost. So placed onto the thalamus. So there is a thalamus. Okay. So placed onto this thalamus. So which can even be called as the receptacle. So placed onto the thalamus. So you can find different parts of the plant body there, right? So this is the thalamus part now, all right? And yeah, one second. So this one is stalk of the flower, okay? So this is the stalk, and this is what this can be called as the thalamus, or this can even be called as the receptacle, okay? So this can even be a receptacle there. Then placed onto this you can find there are calyx. So this one is calyx here now. So on the back side also you can find there is a calyx, and then we'll draw the petal here. So let's draw the petal. So let's take a red color for the petal. So you can find different petals over there. So these petals can have a different arrangements, okay? So now the petals which are basically colored differently, all right? So this one is a petal having a border of white outlines, or the basically it is the red background, all right? So now these are all petals. So why are these petals colorful? So the petals are colorful so that they can attract the insect. Just a second. Hi, Prem Darshan. Good evening. Okay, so the petals are colorful so that they can attract the insect. Okay, and by attracting the insects, so they just make sure that there is a pollination occurring and the fertilization as well. Okay, so main agenda is fertilization as well as pollination, so that they bring about the fruit formation, flower formation. So all that is possible. So only if the pollination occurs, and then there can be a fertilization process that is going to occur. And that's the reason, so whenever flower we draw, okay, so you can always label the flower structure. So one second. Yeah, so you can label these. So this one is now a petal, and this part is the sepal part. Now we have just drawn, that is including petal and sepal. So that is including sepal. So both of these are non-essential parts. So why do we say that these are non-essential parts? Any idea? So I just started this class, Prem Darshan. I think it is already about 20 minutes, but anyway, that's fine. Okay, so you have an option to watch the recording. So you can watch the recording. Yeah, all right. And you can attend many more sessions also on the channel. So that is basically all you have to do is download the Unacademy Learners app. So there are special classes which are conducted on the platform. So you can start taking up the special classes that are there. Okay. So it doesn't matter. So anyway, the topics will be covered here in special classes. So these are free classes. You can start taking up those sessions. I think Prem Darshan is new here on YouTube. So if you haven't downloaded the Unacademy Learners app yet, so you can just download the Unacademy Learners app, and give your login details. Like you can put your email ID, number, and other things, and start taking up the tests which are going on, or you can also start taking up the sessions which are going on. So different educators are having different sessions, so you can attend those sessions as well. Alright, so let's have a look at this. So this is about the petal and sepal, so which are non-essential parts of the flower. Then now we'll draw the essential parts. So essential part here is the stamen. So first outermost being the sepal, next being the petal. So next we have which part? So that is the androecium. So androecium can be drawn. So multiple androecium can also be shown. Okay, which is having a anther and a stigma there. So this is sorry, not stigma, anther and a filament there. Okay, so this one is anther nerve and this is the filament. So I'll just label it. So this is what? This one is anther and this is what, this one is filament. So both of them together, so we call this as the stamen. And the collective term is what, the collective term, or individually when if it is present, so we can call this to be a androecium. Okay, so this one is the androecium. So same way we'll draw the anther here as well. Just a second. So these are the anther and the filament, so which is basically a stamen or the androecium. We'll draw one carpel now. So we can just draw one carpel. So here is the stigma, here is the style, and we'll just continue. So we can just draw the ovary. So we can just place the ovary onto this one. So that is stigma, style and ovary. So stigma, style and ovary when we mention. So this stigma is the one which is receiving the what is that, pollen grain. So pollen grain will be received by that. So this is gonna be the ovary. Inside this ovary you can find the arrangement of ovules. So ovules are arranged here inside this ovary. Okay, so now you know, once the fertilization occurs, so ripened ovule is the fruit, right? So this is ripened ovule. So ripened ovule is seed there, and ripened ovary, what is that? So ripened ovary is the fruit. Okay, so this is the one. So this is only after fertilization. So both of these basically formation occurs. So that is after the successful fertilization process, where there is a formation of embryo, where there is a formation of endosperm, and also the fruit and the seed formation has occurred. So these are the different parts. So this one I'll just label, this is stigma. Okay, and this is next is style. So stigma, style, and then you can find this to be a ovary there. So inside the ovary you can find the ovule. So there is a stigma, style, ovary and ovule. So now all these three together, so we can call it as a carpel or the pistil tube. And other than that there is a name, so that is a gynoecium. Okay, so gynoecium is a collective term, or even if individual gynoecium is there, so this can be referred there. Okay, so stigma, style, ovary and ovule can be found. Okay, so let's have a look at the other parts. So these are the parts of the flower. So we discussed about the outermost whorl. So the collectively it is a calyx, first whorl, second whorl, and the third whorl is taken. So this is all taken from Selena. All that I have added here. So this is from Selena. So you can refer the Selena textbook and have a look at the different parts that they have given. Alright. And other than that, the third whorl being the androecium, which consists of anther and the filament, and the fourth whorl being the gynoecium, which consists of stigma, style and ovary there. Alright, and you can find complete and incomplete flower. So complete or the perfect flower when we mention, so all the parts are there, all the four floral whorls are there. Okay, so there is none missing there, and that we call as a complete flower. So if any one goes missing, okay, so in that case, let's say there is no androecium, there is no gynoecium, there is no petal, there is no sepal. So if anything like that occurs, so that is called as the incomplete flower or the imperfect flower as well. So then we discussed about the non-essential and essential parts. So this is again taken from the Selena itself. Alright, so here you can see, so the essential parts and non-essential. So essential for what? Essential for reproduction. Okay, so these are required for the reproduction, and that's the reason essential when we mention, so these are there or these are required for reproduction process. And now when we mention about non-essential, so these non-essential parts are simply the helping parts which either protect the reproduction as the perianth. So when a distinction is not done or a differentiation is not done, so that we call as the perianth. Am I audible? just a second. All right. So now you know when the perianth is non-green, so it is not green. So this can be called as the petaloid. If it is a green, then it is called as a sepaloid perianth. So these terms are very important. The non-green can be called as a petaloid because petal is colorful, and that's the reason we can call it as a petaloid. And if it is green only, then in that case we can just mention it as a sepaloid perianth. So what is sepaloid? So sepaloid is basically green, and perianth where the distinction is not done, so it is differentiation is not done, so in that case it is a sepaloid perianth. So that is for the green part. All right, so you can have a look at this. So there are petals, there are sepals which are shown in here, then you can see the bracts over there. Right, so this is what, this is a bract. Okay, so that is below the flower. So now this is the flower. Okay, so below the flower you can find one colorful leaf, just like you can find in bougainvillea. Okay, so in case of bougainvillea, what do you find? So there is one small tiny flower, and below you can find the colorful leaves there. Okay, so this one is the bougainvillea, so where you can find the colorful leaves like this. But here also it is a bract, so that is the colorful leaf just present below the flower then. Okay, so that we call as the bract. And floral tube you can see, which is fused with the ovary. So dried perianth is shown here. The capsule developing fruit is also mentioned here. Alright, so these are the different parts that you can study. So here, you know, the sepaloid perianth, or when you can find the green color sepal, okay, that is in a petaloid. So it is green color sepal, and or the basically we can say sepaloid perianth itself, and that is especially in the perianth condition. So this can be called as the sepaloid perianth. Okay, and other than that there is a petaloid. So what exactly is petaloid? If this particular perianth or the sepal or petal, what is it? So if it is non-green, it is of different color, so in that case this can be named as the petaloid. Yes, is that clear? So this is the one bract I was talking about. So when a flower rises in the axil of leaf-like structure, so this structure we call as a bract, and bract can be like ordinary leaves. So these are basically the leaves itself. Okay, so this is nothing extraordinary. So this is basically the leaf, and this is the tiny flower which is growing in the bougainvillea. So that means what you pluck as a flower in case of bougainvillea, so that whole thing is not a flower. The tiny flower what you see, so that is the flower, rest of it is completely a leaf there. Okay, so bracts may be green like ordinary leaves, or they are colored. So the large and the colorful bract, okay, of the bougainvillea, so is mistaken for petals. So lot of them will think that this is not leaf, but this one is the petal. Okay, but this is not the petal. So you all know that the petal or the flower when we mention, so here is this flower, so these are the flowers of this plant. Okay, so in that case this leaf like structure what you see, so that is the leaf itself. So cylindrical attached on the inner side of the bract there. So this is one example of you can see here is the flower. Okay, and here is the leaf structure. So that is again a bract itself. All right. So nectaries, most flowers produce a sweet fragrant liquid that we call as a nectar. So nectars are produced mainly to attract the insects, right? So group of nectar producing cells. So this is now a nectary where a nectar producing cells will be there. Okay, and these are usually situated usually at the base of pistil or on the basis of petals. So the nectar will attract the insect. So that is like honey bees, cross pollination, and also in some of the cases nectaries are prominent as in case of nasturtium. Okay, so in that case you can clearly see the nectary there. So this is floral versus extra floral nectaries in plant. So you can see this is the ovary. Okay, and here is this style, and on top you can find a stigma there, and you can find two of the things here. So these are the nectaries, that is a floral nectary. So extra floral nectaries, basically in the leaf also there are nectary cells which will produce the nectar. So that is, anyway, this is taken from easy biology class. All right, so we'll have a look at this. So perianth is a condition in which calyx and corolla are not distinct. Calyx is present but corolla is absent. Corolla is present but calyx is absent. Calyx and corolla are not present. So which is the right answer here? So this is the one, calyx and corolla are not distinct. So typical flower has four different kinds of whorls arranged on end of a stalk or the pedicel. So it is thalamus as well as the receptacle. So it is both B and C. Okay. So proximal end of the filament, okay, of this stamen. So this is attached to. So it is attached to the thalamus or the petal condition there. Okay. So before I end this session, so let me just say about the batches that we have. So there is a batch in English. So this is a guardians batch, and mainly this started on July 6th, but yes, you have an option to watch the recording, and there are many more sessions which are yet to go live, so you can take up the live sessions there. Okay, and also so maths, physics, chemistry and bio will be covered. All right, so same here as well. So maths, physics, chemistry will be chemistry and bio will be covered, and the mode of delivery is English in case of Avengers batch. So start date was July 14, so you can watch the recordings that are available. So if you are subscribing for class 9, you will be getting class 11, 12, class 10, 11, 12 subscription absolutely free. And with that, introducing community. So never miss on any update from your favorite educator. Get session notes and practice material. Okay, just a second. Okay, so never miss on any update from your favorite educator. So get session notes and practice material. Share your feedback directly with the educators via poll. So check out the link to the educator community below. And also we have a Bucks Bounty. So this is opportunity for all learners to report any inappropriate content in the video. So be the first one to report a particular issue to claim your prize. Report any inappropriate content using the form in the description. Alright. So all you know about this. So basically all you have to do is download the Unacademy Learners app and start taking up the sessions which are there. Okay. And here basically you can download given your or enter your credentials, so like email ID and your WhatsApp, or basically not WhatsApp number, in general number. Okay, so that you will be getting a notification whenever the classes are there. So that is for ICSE classes. So all you have to do is download the Learners app, that is Unacademy Learners app, and start taking up the sessions over here on the YouTube as well as on the platform. So because these are the free classes which are conducted there. Okay, all right then, so I'll end this session. So see you all in the next session. So subscribe to our channel, that is Unacademy ICSE and ISC boards. Click on bell icon to get notified about the session. Like and share the video and download the Unacademy Learners app now. So if you need this PDF, I can send it on my Telegram or on the community. So see you all in the next session. Bye bye everyone. Take care.